Hey folks, Matt aka Stormageddon here. I'm putting on the producer/editor hat to let y'all know that unfortunately Frankie's audio was not as good as we would like for this episode. There was some mic issues, and so it's a little tinny, but you can hear them clearly. It was a mic issue, and it's how the audio came out. I cleaned it up to the best of my ability so there's no crackling or static, but they do sound a little echoey and far away from the mic. But I boosted it, so volume-wise, it shouldn't be an issue. We appreciate your patience. Sorry that this happened. Promise we'll sort it for the next episode, but I just wanted to give you a heads up at the top of the recording. So without any further ado, here is the latest episode of Reignite.
You're listening to Reignite, a podcast about the real enemy, bureaucracy. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, aka Stormageddon.
And we are back, baby!
Yep, back.
Did you miss us?
Officially back from a hiatus, although this is actually our third episode back from a hiatus, technically. But we are back, and we are here to wrap up this incredible story. Not today, but just in general. We're getting towards the end of Andromeda.
Well, we have an actual, end date now.
More or less, yeah. Which is pretty crazy.
This has been such a long journey.
Oh my god, yeah. And it was heavy when we finished the trilogy just because that was the initial mission statement. But Andromeda ends Mass Effect for us until the fifth one comes out, whenever that is, who knows. But this is the end of our tenure with Mass Effect is this season. And that's exciting and scary because we've teased it a bunch, but we have an idea of where we want to go next. But that's also going to be a big journey, and so we're no longer a Mass Effect retrospective after that, right? Which is what we've been for 5 years. So,
but now that we've made the most important decision in the game, who we're going to romance, it's time to actually get on with the whole saving of the initiative thing and finding everyone a home. Except Tan and the initiative leaders don't trust our intuition, despite the support from our fellow Pathfinders. Harry has a surprise for us, and there are many other missions that need our attention.
Yeah, shocking. In a Mass Effect game, the bureaucracy doesn't trust the hero. That's never happened before.
It's the ambassadors all over again.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, so...
it's the council all over again, not the ambassadors.
Same difference. I mean, every leader, all the leadership in Mass Effect has never trusted the hero at any point, at any time. We can't possibly be right. We're bureaucrats. We know better. Uh-huh.
So before we dig into that, why don't we recap who we romanced and why we did that?
Yeah. I revealed in our romance roundtable that I ended up romancing Cora.
Which is absolutely wild to many of the people who weighed in on what they thought was going to happen.
My guess is the highest number count was for Jal.
It was. I'll actually give you the statistics if you give me a moment. You continue talking, though.
Sure. Yeah. It was a last minute decision. It was really down to the wire. I kept saying as we recorded, but at the end of the day, Cora, I felt I connected with the strongest and also reminded me the most of my actual partner of all the characters. And I've been going through this feeling recently. There's been a lot of hubbub about straight presenting relationships and erasing queerness, and we've talked that to death, but it's very important to me that I can still be queer while romancing a femme partner as a mask partner, right? That doesn't make me less gay. And obviously Jal has all of the telltale signs of a Garrus and Caden fusion, as we've talked about many times, and so it seemed my wheelhouse. And also Vetra, again, had a lot of personality traits very similar to my partner as well, but there was something about Cora and her sweet nerdiness, her wanting to do the right thing, constantly pushing forward, working really hard, never giving up. It just really drew me to her. And then that whole scene with the rose garden on Eos, whatever. I'm never going to get the name of that planet right. it really hit me in a place that just felt like my kind of romance and the thing that I'm a sucker for. And so, yeah, I'm happy with my choice, of course. And I'm curious to see where the actual romance goes as we finish. I'm sure there's some like big scene as we're rushing off to danger, the usual Mass Effect MO. But yeah, I'm happy with my choice. I really like Cora. I think she's an interesting character. And I do think she is similar to Kaden in the fact that she is often underestimated. She is often overlooked because she's just one of the human characters. And I think like Kaden, to really fall for this character, you have to dig in. And that's what Josh and I talked about a bit on the Romance Roundtable too. It's like you have to really dig in to a character like Cora, whereas like Jal from get-go, oh, he's handsome, has a nice voice, and is an alien, I'm into him. Like, that's surface level stuff. And there's a lot more once you get to know him too. But yeah, Cora was the one for me.
All right. How would you feel about going over the Stormageddon Takes Andromeda form and revealing your answers?
We could do that. Have we covered everything that was on there?
I really think that we have. Let me tell you some of the questions, and you can tell me if you feel comfortable answering them or not. How about that?
Sure.
Your main party, who you're torn between, who you're sad you couldn't romance, who your love interest will be, favorite companion quest, least favorite companion, favorite planet, side mission that made you think the most.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can answer all of these. We haven't wrapped up all of the side missions, but I think the ones that I've liked the most we have encountered, and it'll be fun for the listeners since I think the meat of this episode there, isn't going to take us very long.
All right, so your main party.
So it really changed a lot as I played through the game. I don't think I had, because I was new to this game. There was this meta to constantly change up the party because I wanted to see what everyone had to say and what everyone did. I can tell you that my least used party member is probably Liam because it took me a while to warm up to him as a character. But I guess it would be easy to say at this point my most frequent used character was Drac and someone else. That's the easy answer for that. If I had to pick one other person, I think it was probably Cora. But Drac was almost always my first pick and then another person because I love Drac.
Okay, so you have two options here. You can say no specific mains. You can say Drac and no specific mains. Or you can say Drac and Cora. What do you feel?
I think Drac and no specific mains because it was really, I'll take Drac and I don't know, someone else. Until all right, I decided on Cora and then it was Drac and Cora, obviously.
Now, Matt is torn between, and here are your character options. Avela, Cora, Gil, Pelisaria Basale, Jal, Vetra, Reyes, or Carrie.
It was definitely, I was torn between, it was a three-way. It was Vetra, Jal, and Cora.
All right. Now, Matt is sad he can't romance.
Drac.
Your options are...
I don't need to hear my options. It's Drac. And
you want to hear your options anyway?
Yeah, sure. But I did get that moment on the Tempest where you can flirt with Drac once and try and see if he's why can't I romance you? And he's it just it would involve you can ask him if it was a date when you got into the bar fight.
Yeah.
And he's like, if it was a date, there would have been a lot more dead bodies or whatever. It was very funny.
Yep. Well, the options were Liam, Suvi, Tyrion Kandros, Callow, Avidus Rix, Sloane Kelly, and Nakmor Morta.
Oh, so Drac wasn't even an option.
No. Other was an option, so I can put down Drac.
Yeah. I mean, I think of those options, I would say that I was a little bummed I couldn't romance Suvi. I like Suvi. I understand why I can't, and I don't need her to be forced to be a straight character, but it was a little bit of a bummer as a mass presenting character not be able to romance her because I did think she was great and I really did like her as a character. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the number one choice is Callow. Let me romance a Solarian. There's no reason why I can't romance Callow. He's the one. So of those options, Callow is the one I would pick.
Okay. I'll also put down Drac.
Yes.
All right. And we already know your love interest is Cora.
Correct. And so what was the statistical breakdown of that? You said you were going to give it to me.
I will give it to you after we go through all of this.
Okay.
Now, favorite companion quest. Korra's, Jarl's, Liam's, Drax, PB's, or Vetra's?
I mean, I really think I like Drax the best, and I think we talked about that in that episode.
Yeah,
like the whole
that's a
Kool-Aid
good one.
Man moment, like that I had to gif the minute I saw happen. Like it just that mission was great. Yeah, I think it's Drax for sure.
All right. Least favorite companion.
Probably Liam. And I will say though, he's the least, but I like them all. Like at first I didn't like Liam in the beginning, but that has changed after his companion quest and some other stuff. I really do like him as a character now. I see his arc more plainly. Like that aggression in the beginning of the game leads to the moments where he screws up in his companion quest, right? Like there's an arc there of him being kind of a screw up and a hothead and learning his lesson. Character growth. Imagine that, a human character with character growth in the Mass Effect series.
What a concept.
So, but he's still my least favorite of all the characters.
Alrighty. How about favorite planet? We have Eos, Aya, Vold, Havarl, Kadara, and Eladin. Or some other planet that I haven't listed.
And this is favorite planet, right?
Yep.
Okay, because I have a least favorite planet.
Is it Vold?
It's the desert one with all the holes. I think that's Eladin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's Eladin.
But favorite planet, I think I'd say is Aya. It's just, I really like it. It's just really cool.
All right. Was there a side mission that made you think the most?
It's funny. I don't think any of them had the same kind of impact that like our go-to was from Mass Effect. Like, I like a lot of the missions, and I've enjoyed my time with them, but I don't know, a mission that made me think the most. I mean, honestly, and we're going to talk about it later, but I think the Ryder Family Secrets mission, just because like all of the discoveries and you get some cool cameos from certain characters' parents, as well as, you know, characters you directly know. And it does wrap around to there's conversations about the Reapers towards the end of it. Like all really neat stuff that you kind of like discover from this side, whatever it is, 600 years later or some nonsense, like whatever the number is. So yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. And like just seeing, like understanding why Alec did what he did. I don't know that I forgive him quite yet, but like it makes more sense now. And we'll talk about that more in the epilogue.
All right. You want to hear what your breakdown is?
Yes, please.
All right. So for main party, the number 1 was Jal.
Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised by that.
Number 2 was Drac.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
anyone who guessed Drac, they're going to get points.
Nice.
Nobody said no specific names, and only one person said Korra. For who you're torn between, the top 2 were Jal and Vetra.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a 3-way tie with Gil, PB, and Reyes. And then Korra and Carrie had 1 each. No one thought you'd be interested in Nevela.
Interesting, because she was like one of my favorites besides the 3 that I was torn between. And it's so funny that people, I mean, look, I can see why people made the guesses they did. And I didn't expect to fall for Korra. In the same way I didn't expect to fall for Jack when we did season 2. So like, clearly I just don't know myself that well. Or I don't project.
Clearly.
I'm not predictable, which I guess is a good thing.
Matt is sad he can't romance. Number 1 response, Liam Costa.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Everyone expected me to fall for him. That's fascinating.
Number 2 response was Suvi.
Yeah, okay.
And then a 3-way tie with Callow, Avidus, and Sloane.
I would give points to the Suvi and Callow people, because I think both of them equally I wish I could have romanced.
That's valid. Now, for who your love interest will be, 76.9% voted for Jal, 15.4% for Vetra, and 7.7% for PB.
Wow. So Korra was like super low.
Korra was 0.
Nobody thought I'd romance Korra.
You got 3 responses.
Wow.
And it was Jal, Vetra, or PB.
Wow. Interesting. People are going to be mad.
Yeah. Nobody guessed anyone else.
Wow.
For your favorite companion quest, most people thought that it was going to be Jal's. There was a tie between Drax and Liam's.
Okay.
And the other one was PB's.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, those are all really good missions, but yeah, it was definitely Drac hands down.
Now, for least favorite companion, only 3 were chosen. 7.7% for PB. 23.1% for Liam. 69.2% for Cora.
Huh. Wow. People really don't like Cora.
Showing your bias, Mass Effect fandom.
Yeah, people really don't like Cora. I mean, we've been burned before by angry human femmes, so like I get it. But yeah, I mean, well, at least people did think Liam. Like there was connection there. But interesting.
For favorite planet, most people said Kadara. Second in place was Aya. Then Havarl and Eladin.
Yep, for sure, Aya. Pretty planet is pretty.
I'm going to read these out for you for the guesses because there's no percentage or anything.
Right, it's just people could write whatever they wanted. Yeah.
Side mission that made you think the most. Someone said Vold, uncovering the past because of the implied consequences later in the game and moving forward. Which is, somebody else also said the AI on Vold. Uncovering the past, I guess, is the most popular.
Yeah.
Because 3 people said that. Someone else said Liam's loyalty mission because of the shifting perspectives.
Okay.
Someone else said a future for the Krogan. The little things that matter, which I believe was Cora's.
Yes.
The mission where you encountered the ancient Angaran AI on Fold, so that was the most popular.
Yeah.
I love this one. Arg, I don't know enough yet.
I mean, the AI one is up there, but yeah, I mean, I'm struck by I like the intrigue of Ryder's family secrets.
Now, I need you to grade these because they're hilarious.
Okay.
Miscellaneous predictions.
Right. These are where people could just predict anything they wanted about what I would do. Okay.
And if they were like oddly specific and they were right, they would get like an instant 40 points.
Okay.
But no one took advantage of the like being really oddly specific.
Okay.
Matt enjoys the ability to travel around in the Nomad, but feels nostalgic for the Mako's controls.
So I didn't enjoy the Nomad, but the second part's correct. I did somehow feel strangely, because remember we talked about it because it was familiar, because I was familiar with the Nomad, the Mako. I did feel a little bit of nostalgia for it. So I would give like half whatever points you would give for that to that one, because it's half correct.
All right, we'll give that one a highlight of yellow, so that way we know it's partially correct. He will immediately start a replay upon completion to try and figure out whichever romance he missed out on the first time.
So I will definitely be replaying it. I don't know if I'm going to start it right after we finish it, just because there's too many games to play.
He will express disappointment that there aren't more new aliens, but the romance with Jal will soften the blow.
That's incorrect. I mean, I was bummed. We did talk about it, that I was bummed that there aren't more aliens and like new aliens. I think that was just a conversation point early on. But I didn't romance Jal.
All right. So the rule was 40 points if your oddly specific prediction is completely accurate. 5 points if something within your prediction is accurate, but not the entire thing. So let's say 2 points if it's not completely accurate. Does that sound fair? That sounds fair. All right. So this person got 2 points. He will make the twin in the most bizarre and crazy way possible. I don't know. Do I look bizarre and crazy? No. I would not give that one points. To be fair, they might not have known at the time that we were creating each other, so. Matt will find the opening level immensely frustrating because of the difference in gameplay between 3 and Andromeda, but by the first vault will become very comfortable with it and believe it to be a great evolution in the gameplay of the series. So the timing is not correct, but the sentiment is. I did come around on the controls. I was very frustrated in that first mission, but then by about halfway through the game, when I figured out how to do the multiple profiles and kind of customize, I did end up liking the gameplay a lot. So I would give
I would give 2/3 of the points to that because it's besides the oddly specific it doesn't get, but like it's in the ballpark.
So let's do 3 points for that.
Yeah.
All right. He's going to be very frustrated with the game's preloaded responses to the attempt to kill Sam. I'm going to say no because that did not happen.
Yeah.
Will kiss Reyes for distraction in the mission. That has that option. You didn't kiss Reyes.
I didn't kiss him. No. I wasn't interested in Reyes. I didn't want the swashbuckling suave type. I wasn't into it.
You hated the nomad.
I did.
How did you feel about the hybrid classes? Did you like them?
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what made me like being able to be kind of a biotic. Like a
Someone
biotic
got 5
energy.
points.
Yeah. Like I ultimately hybrid is how I play my character. So yeah.
All right. Matt is going to choose to save the Angara in the facility on Vold rather than destroy it and sacrifice them. He'll make this choice partially because of his morals, but also because he doesn't want to let Jal down.
I mean, that's pretty correct. Yeah. I mean, I did make that choice, and part of it was caring about Jal and not wanting to let him down. Yeah.
We have another also arc. I don't know enough yet. I have to get to playing. Who was this? Who am I going to put on blast right now? Tiger Vision X on Twitter.
Oh, Tiger Vision. Yeah, he's someone who used to come around my streams all the time, and we interact a bunch on Twitter. I think Tiger also did a side quest at one point. I
appreciate you.
Yeah, this is very funny. Well done, Tiger.
Last one. Matt will visit Nakmor Kesh obsessively and want to know more about her than the game wrote for her. I feel like that's no. You didn't really visit her that much.
No, I wasn't obsessed with her. I like her character. She's definitely one of my favorite characters in the game, but I didn't obsess over her. And I thought they did an okay job writing for her. I mean, obviously there could have been more, but yeah.
There always could have been more.
Yeah.
That was Mad Truman who wanted more Nakmor Kesh. All right, and that was it. I'm going to have to score these later.
Yep.
But no one got it right.
Yeah, that's so funny.
When I score these for our next episode, I'll be able to announce who will win a Mass Effect prize pack. We don't know what will be in the prize pack yet. I'll probably make something.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. We'll get your information and we'll figure it out. Matt will have to be in charge of shipping it, though. Yeah.
I mean, we do have a collection of Mass Effect, a smattering of Mass Effect comics that will be included in that prize pack. I've been sitting on those for a little while, but as far as other things, it's hard to say. We'll figure it out, but we'll get that to you.
Yeah. Well, we'll go through some previous fandom corners.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. All right. Now that we're through that, we can get back to the game. It's just there's not much to do on the Nexus.
We're kind of wrapping stuff up, yeah.
Yeah.
So now we finally get to figure out who you romanced, which I think I know already. But
everybody should know. It's my boy. It's my sniper boy.
It's Jal. You have a type.
I love him so much. I do have a type. My type is like socially awkward nerd with imposter syndrome.
There was a moment though where I did think you were going to romance Vetra only because
I love a spiky girlfriend.
Right. So I
do love a spiky girlfriend.
But every time we spoke to Ren, which was twice, I got the sense that you and Ren were very similar in your thoughts about Jal. So
Jal is so good. I love him so much. His romance scene is so intimate and so just rife with the female gaze. I don't know how else to describe it. It's excellent. So nobody was taking bets on who I'd romance, but if you were and you guessed Jal, go ahead and collect.
Amazing. I mean, I'm not surprised. Have you done other romances on other playthroughs? Okay.
I have so I've romanced Vetra, Liam, Gil. Have I romanced Gil? Or did I just watch the video enough times? Remember now.
It's fine.
But I have romanced Vetra, I have romanced Liam. I romanced Reyes.
Okay.
And I have romanced Carrie in the past.
I'm not surprised by really any of those. Reyes, also, your conversations with Spectre Alafet alluded to a previous history with Reyes. Like those two for the most, like that and Jal, like I thought it was going to be one of the two of them. But since we did the Reyes mission, it was clear you didn't romance Reyes. So
yeah, I have in the past, but he's just so difficult because I don't approve of that final action. And if you don't approve of that final action, then you lose that relationship no matter what.
Yep.
Oh, Reyes. My dumb space cowboy.
But yeah, Ajal is a good choice too. He was, like I said, I had a 3-way look. If I could just be Polly, it would have solved everything. But since I couldn't, I went for Cora. I think it's
let us be polyamorous.
I do think it's hilarious that no one predicted, but I also feel like no one would have predicted Caden if we were taking these kind of questions for, like, in the beginning. By the end, like by the time we got to the third game, everyone knew I was going to go for Caden because of the way I talked about him. But like playing the first game, if we asked them to predict who I was going to romance at the end of the trilogy, I don't think anyone would have guessed Caden either. Because I don't think I know. I think look, I'm a serial dater who is face planted from relationship to relationship. So I don't really do dating in the same way. So I don't know. Like I don't know that I could have even predicted who I'd romance. So here we are.
It worked out. It's fine.
Yes.
The mission that has been on our plate since we started the game.
Yes, we finally get to turn in the evidence on Spender and get this fucker.
I fucking hate this guy. He's the absolute worst. The way he talks about the Krogan, the way he talks about Addison and Tan and administration, it made me look at them and be like, you gonna let him talk about you like that?
Yeah, he is just the worst. He is such a shit. And I've wanted to finish this mission for a while because also it's so important to Drac, and Drac is my best friend.
Yeah.
Which I think is the more important thing to come out of this playthrough, is less about the relationship, which I do enjoy my relationship, but I have a best friend and he's my Krogan grandpa.
We all love a Krogan grandpa.
It's true. It's true.
What did you do with Spender? Did you put him in jail or did you kick him off the station?
I exiled him.
Yes! I also exiled him because fuck him.
Yeah.
Go get murdered by some Krogan. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I think I've learned... So it's interesting, right? Like, we're basing these characters on ourselves to the best of our ability. And when we started the original trilogy, we were very different people even 4 years ago. We've survived a pandemic since then, which is still not over. Heavy sigh. But...
we are continuing to survive.
Right. But... I think I'm very much a different person now than I was even a year or two ago. And I think that has shown up in my rider, who's a little more cavalier, makes some more rash or harsher decisions, because I had to relearn kind of how to survive during this time. You know, I survived a fire, which we've talked about before. Like, I'm just a different person, and I couldn't have predicted those changes, but they definitely, I think, affected my playthrough here. And I'm curious how it'll affect future games that we play, because a lot of the ones that we have that we're choosing between are games that I've played before. This is the only, in the nearish future at least, game that I've never played that I'm playing for the first time on a pod. But I think all of that has affected my decision making. But yeah, as soon as they gave me the option, it's like, I don't care who kills you. I just don't want you here. I don't want you anywhere near the initiative. You've got to go.
Yeah, for real. Because also, if you put him in jail, somebody's gonna let him out.
Yes.
Like, he's too sneaky. I don't like him. Also, based on what you were saying, I am now wondering how my playthroughs of anything is gonna be now that I live in a different country.
Yeah, also true.
Just because I feel very detached from things that used to ground me. So, I don't know, maybe I will be a little more fuck it. A little more fuck all of this.
I do have a lot more of that in me now than I did pre-pandemic for sure. So, yeah, it should be interesting. Yeah, we'll talk. We've got some time, but we have a lot of ideas for next season, and we're not going anywhere. But some things may make it really interesting. More about that soon.
So yeah, we both kicked him off the station. It was so satisfying to actually see that come to a conclusion and to rip into Addison and be able to tell her, you're the reason this happened.
Yeah. I did soften the blow a little bit.
No.
I know.
Absolutely not.
I know. I did say, at the end of the day, it is Spender's fault. But if you do that, Addison still takes the blame. Addison clearly feels bad about it, and is like, no, I should have seen this. It was right in front of me. You tried to point it out to me. This is my fault. Which, like, for the character is a lot of growth. She went from this kind of one-note aggressor who didn't like you to this complicated character who really does care about the station, but is not always the best at her job. for a variety of reasons. And I think that's really interesting. She's not a black and white terrible character like Director Tan is.
Right. Fuck Tan. Speaking of Tan, we do have to talk to the leaders about Meridian. So now we need permission, I guess, to go to Meridian. And nobody wants to give it to us, even though we have turned up time and time again. We've done the things that we said that we were going to do. We turned planets into homes. Nobody wants to trust us.
That's really interesting. The hero of a Mass Effect game not being trusted by the higher-ups, even though they have so much evidence to the truth of what they're talking about. That never happens. I was upset that Kesh wasn't supporting us.
Yeah.
I knew Tan wouldn't support us. I had an inkling that Addison wouldn't. But Kesh being absolutely not caught me completely off guard. And I was hurt. I was absolutely upset.
Yeah. Because Kesh is supposed to be the one with common sense. And she even says, I like you, Ryder, but I can't support your plan. And it's fucked up because, come on, Kesh. I thought we were cool.
Yeah. I literally found the person who fucked over the Krogan for you and exiled him. What the hell?
I rescued your boyfriend.
And your grandpa. Well, he rescued me mostly. But yes. Yeah, it's a bummer. I knew Tan wouldn't support us. I had no inkling of that, especially the illusions you'd been pointing out the whole game. It's just, I knew the bureaucracy would bite us in the ass, but I'm just bummed that they didn't support us. Thankfully, though, they're not the only people who can support us in this situation.
Mm-hmm, because the rest of the Pathfinders show up and they stand up for you and they say that they support you. But apparently that doesn't matter because Tan says, you answer to me. Fuck you. No, I don't. I do what I want.
Oh, man. Fucking Tan. Fuck that guy.
It's the absolute worst. But then we get some interesting news.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, the Pathfinders have a plan.
Well, the Pathfinders have a plan. But I was talking about my brother is awake. I get to go see my brother.
Yes. My sister is awake. Before we talk about the Pathfinders, yeah, we get to go talk to our sibling who is actually conscious and can speak to us. They're still bedridden, and Harry is yeah, they should pretty much do nothing for a little while still, but they're awake. And so here we are at the point that I alluded to early in the game. We're at the point where I kept asking, are our sibling going to be a companion? Are we going to get to have them in our party? And obviously the answer here is no. They never join you and your party, as far as I can tell. That may change, but as of where we are here, it's I see they're going to be okay, and we'll be able to talk to them and hang out with them on the Nexus, but we're not going to be able to bring them with us, which is a bummer, unless that changes in the next handful of episodes we have left. But yeah, it was cool to get to finally talk to our sibling, not in their brain.
What I really liked about interacting with Scott is that for me, Scott is just 2 letters away from being Matt.
That's true.
Because the relationship that they have, I feel is very similar to the relationship that you and I have now.
Yeah.
Scott says at some point, yeah, I have to catch up on all this sleep that I've been missing. And makes a joke about how he has all these naps to catch up on. And that's definitely an interaction that you and I would have if one of us was in a life-threatening situation and woke up to be fine. And now people are telling us that we can't move and now we have to stay in bed. Neither of us would like that. And both of us would be salty about it.
Yeah. I also like that Sarah constantly wants to diffuse things with humor. It feels like that's the core of both writers, is that's how they've dealt with the capital T trauma in their family, is by cracking jokes, which is very much our MO as well. And the frustration also, it's not just the humor, but Sarah is clearly frustrated that they can't just run off and help you save the galaxy. And they are unhappy that they are missing out, which is absolutely, I know for a fact you hate being left out of stuff. I know that you like being a part of things, especially you like taking charge in situations and being able to lead. And so if you weren't able to in a situation, you would be well, this sucks. So
this definitely sucks.
And so that kind of mentality absolutely matches up with you as a person.
I thought this was a really interesting scene for the both of us to experience because, I don't know, I think it speaks to our relationship.
I agree. I think also, like, there isn't something like this in the original trilogy. You don't have a sibling. Shepard is an only child with
Yeah.
possible living parents. Possible living mother, I think, is it.
Yeah, only mother.
And so, like, whereas here we had a dad that we could sort of design what they look like based on our looks, which was interesting, and we had a sibling. And I think that kind of relationship is really interesting, and you don't really get in any other BioWare game that I can think of. And so, because we've become such good friends, and we have a very sibling-y relationship, was thinking of the non-gendered word, I think that it was really cool to see that reflected in this game, and it was a cool idea to create each other as our sibling. I think it was a fun idea. Instead of making our actual siblings, which we could have done, and I had no interest.
That's true. I could have made my brother. He would have looked just exactly like me, except a foot taller.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to show you a picture. I did wear, the beard filter on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
I took a screenshot of me wearing the beard filter, and I took a picture of my brother, and I put them side by side. We look basically the same, except I'm 10 times hotter.
I mean, you would be hotter in a beard than your brother, probably. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, Nick, you heard it here. I am hotter in a beard. Stop trying.
Rude.
I'm allowed to be rude to him. I have 20 years of being rude to catch up.
That's fair. I can't argue with that.
Like, more than that. I have like 30 years of being rude to him to catch up on. And he has like 30 years of being a little shit to catch up on. So, like,
fair enough.
It works out. It balances.
Of course. Totally. Yes. 100%.
I know you have a very different relationship with your brother.
We still give each other shit quite a bit. But look, our relationship isn't nearly as fraught as it was when I was a kid. Like, we get along pretty well now. His kids, his spouse, and his dog mellowed him out, which is nice.
And then the last thing is that the Pathfinders have a plan.
Yeah, teaming up along with the incredible science team that you've been working with the entire time, which is cool that they wrap them into it. There is a way that we might be able to get in and get out undetected. There's a plan. I forget it's Ghost something is the name of the plan.
It's like Ghost Storm.
Ghost Storm. And my favorite part is do you remember the Asari scientist's name who's been helping you? I can't remember her name. Aridana. Like, you're talking about how this is just going to be a Pathfinder mission. The Nexus can't know. Ryder goes, well, yeah, but like Aridana's here. Like, their staff is helping us.
You didn't hear any of that.
What?
No, Shepard points to her and goes, you didn't hear any of that. And I was over here collating data. I don't know what you're talking about.
Same, yeah. And I just love that. It's like, they're just so on board to help you after you've been helping them the whole game. And I love that. I love that camaraderie. So, and in the next episode, we will be executing that plan.
Yeah. And that's really it for the Nexus. We are closing in on the end. So, not that many missions to wrap up.
Yeah, and like there were a couple of things here that I did on the Citadel, or not the Citadel.
That's a different game.
Different game. There were a couple other things I did on the Nexus. Like, I'm not done with Carrie's quest, and so like she's got arrested, and so I talked to her in prison, told her how badass it was. You know, great journalism. All great journalism stories end with someone being arrested.
Yes, for real.
And so I talked with her for a bit, but that was kind of really it that was memorable that I did on the Citadel. Or, God damn it, again, the Nexus, the fucking Nexus. But yeah, I'm excited to hone in on the end of this. It's not because I want it to be over, but because I'm curious how it wraps up. I already know it's kind of incomplete, but whatever, fine. I think I'm hoping that the ending is still satisfying, even knowing that they dropped support on this game because of how poorly it did. But I guess we'll see. I have a pretty good idea of where I am with this game and where it is in the pantheon of games I've played. But I don't want to get too much into that until like the final episode, I think, because I should see the full story through before I fully render my judgment, as it were, on the game as a whole.
So, Matt, as we are closing in on the end, do you want to pick another character for the Ask Meme? See if there's anyone that we haven't done yet?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I think that these are fun enough that we should keep doing them. I think I am going to pick... I feel like we haven't done Sid. I don't think we've done Sid yet.
Technically, we've done Sid a couple of minutes ago. Do you have siblings?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do. I have an older brother who's 9 years older than me, and he's a pain in my ass.
I have 4 total siblings. 3 of them are half siblings. 1 of them is a full sibling. One of my half siblings is in the wind. We don't know anything about him. We only know like his first and middle name and the year he was born, and that's it. We know nothing else. My other 2 half brothers are named Billy and Joey. They are my mom's sons. They live with her currently. Billy, I'm not usually a thoughts and prayers person. But if you have good vibes, send them to my brother Billy because he has been really unwell for over a year. Every time he's gone to the doctor to find out what's wrong, they're like, we can't find anything wrong with you. And he's literally wasting away. This man is under 100 pounds now. And we're a little worried. And then my other brother, the one that I talk about the most, is my brother Nick. He was put up for adoption when I was 5 years old. I did not know about him until right before the pandemic. We've reconnected and we've been friends ever since. So that's my brother Nick. Yeah. And he is also a Mass Effect fan. He used to have a podcast, which I found hilarious because podcasting's in the blood.
Yeah. I mean, that said, everyone had or has a podcast at this point.
I know. I just thought it was funny.
It is very funny.
He lives out in Arizona with his other best friend whose name is Nick.
Amazing. Of course.
So they live together and they're both named Nick.
Nick and Nick. Nice.
Nick and Nick. It's a sitcom waiting to happen.
Right.
But yeah, that's it for siblings.
Awesome. Well, that's a wrap on this episode. Our next episode, the moment you've been waiting for at long last, we are going to head to Meridian. Some major story stuff. I have no idea what to expect at this point. Like I sort of assume where the story is going, but I don't know. I don't really know how this is going to resolve. Like in the same way that the first time I ever played the first at Mass Effect, like I didn't see anything coming with Sovereign or any of that stuff. Like totally caught me off guard. And I assume there's going to be stuff like that here. I know there are a few missions I need to finish before this. Like side missions, like having to do with possibly some dissension amongst the Ket. And so like, I know that I should probably finish that before we do this, but yeah, I'm excited to finally progress the main story and see where this journey goes before we wrap up the game.
And if you like what you heard here, follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, facebook.com/reignitepod, or you can send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at FrankieBWrites and Matt at DJ_Stormageddon. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcatcher if you can. It helps us get seen so other people can find us.
We're also members of the Certain Point of View podcast network. You can visit certainpov.com to find more nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server right on the website. Join in the conversations both about this game and tons of other stuff. Comic books, regular books, super books. I don't know, because you're regular and like there are different levels of book. I don't know. Movies, TV, other video games, all sorts of stuff. We've been really active over there. I've been obsessing about a bunch of games as we close out on the year of 2022 in video gaming. So yeah, come hang out with us there.
I have been playing Disney Dreamlight Valley because it was available for me for free on Game Pass, and I don't know how I'm going to get my PhD work done. Anyway, for personal plugs, I've got nothing. I'm working on my PhD. I'm playing Dreamlight Valley. Go read my fan fiction over on Archives of Our Own. My username is iHoardLibrarians. You can Venmo me $5 at Frankie You can Venmo me $5 at Frankie Brad is hella rad. Now that I'm living off a stipend and still have bills but no income. Why did I choose this life?
I don't know. Can't help you there.
I don't know. Matt, what do you have going on?
The usual stuff. You can go to djstormageddon.com to check out all the stuff that I'm working on. I'm still a diligent freelance editor for the Game Informer show, which has been great. I really adore Alex Van Aken, and I'm glad to have this opportunity. Those episodes have been a lot of fun to work on, as well as tons of other stuff. And then if you're going to be at Philly for PAX Unplugged the first weekend of December, I will be there along with Jeff Moonen, my co-host from Fun and Games. We are going to be covering a ton of cool board game related video game stuff. And if you want to hang out, play some games with us, please try and find me. We're not doing a panel this year, but maybe if enough folks are going to be around in Philly, we'll do some kind of meetup or something. That's the biggest thing I've got going on in the nearest future.
All right, we'd like to thank Red Sphinx for our It's Okay to Be a Marshmallow t-shirt on Redbubble, featuring our favorite marshmallow, Kanan Alenko. You can find more of his work at Chaos Does Art on Instagram.
We'd also like to thank Carter's husband for more amazing t-shirt designs that you can find at certainpov.com or on the Certain POV Teespring.
Thank you to David Boyle for redesigning our logo like a champ. And finally, thank you to JT Music and Andrea Storm Caden for our new theme music. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt A.K. Stormageddon.
Good luck, Pathfinders.
Video games are a unique medium.
They can tell stories,
Immerse us in strange, fantastic worlds.
blur the very boundaries of our reality.
But at the end of the day, video games are fun, whatever fun is to you.
I'm Jeff Moonen,
And I am Matt A.K. Stormageddon.
and on Fun and Games, we talk about the history, trends, and community of video games.
It's a celebration of all the games we play and all the fun we find within them.
And there's so many more games out there, so we hope you'll share in that conversation with us.
Fun and Games podcast with Matt and Jeff. Find us on certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
And happy gaming.
CPOV. CertainPOV.com.